Hi, I'm Valary, and today's recipe is chicken and dumplings.
My name is Michael, and I'm from upstate New York. This is my wife, Valary. She's from Kenya. When I was 30 years old, my mother gave me an incredible gift. This homemade cookbook, which took her years to produce, contains over 400 family recipes. One morning, after Mom passed away, we decided to honor her by preparing every recipe in that book. To make it interesting, we thought Valary should be the chef. Can a Kenyan transplant conquer her mother-in-law's opus? Let's find out. This is Valary Cooks the Book.
So these are the ingredients you'll need for the chicken and dumpling recipe. You need a whole chicken, 2 to 3 quarts of water, 2 celery stalks cut into large pieces, parsley, 1 bay leaf, 2 cups of BISQUICK.
BISQUICK.
Sorry?
BISQUICK.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's a baking mix, pre-made baking mix.
Oh, like a pancake mix.
Yeah, similar.
Oh, okay. A dash of nutmeg, 2/3 of a cup of milk, 1/2 cup of chicken broth, and a tablespoon of cornstarch. So this recipe actually calls for a 1/2 cup of sliced carrots, but both Mike and I do not like cooked carrots. We bonded over that actually when we met. So we're going to be skipping that, but feel free to incorporate that in your recipe.
Time for a recap. Please feel free to pause the video or take a screenshot.
So I'm just going to start chopping this up. I'm actually really good at this because I come from a tribe in Kenya known for our love of chicken. If there's a professional chef, please don't judge me. You just want to cut it alongside the joints. This is a big chicken. So I have the chicken cut up into pieces in the water. The next steps is to add the next 4 ingredients and bring to boil. I'm not going to chop up the parsley, I just like the big stalks. It doesn't say whether we should chop them up or not, so I'm not going to do it. Then the bay leaf goes in and the celery stalks. So knowing the recipe calls for salt, but I'm going to add a little bit of salt, just a little bit under a tablespoon. If I mess it up, thankfully Chris is not here to eat it because this is Chris's favorite meal, and Chris is Michael's little brother, who's not very little anymore. He's an adult, but little. So we're gonna bring this to boil and we'll cook it for 1.5 hours or until the chicken is tender. So let's get that ready, and I'll just put a timer. So while the chicken is boiling, we're gonna start to prep the dumpling mix. So it calls for combining all the ingredients, which is the BISQUICK, the nutmeg, and milk. Okay, so we're just gonna add the milk. Oh, I love the smell of nutmeg. So let's go ahead and mix that up. So just try to get all the ingredients to mix well together, and I think we're pretty much done. And we'll set this aside to cool while the chicken continues to cook, because we're going to use the chicken broth from the boiling chicken to, I guess, boil these dumplings. And voila! So it's been 1.5 hours. Let's see. The chicken is ready, so it should only boil for 1.5 hours per the recipe. It looks very tender. So the instructions are now to remove the chicken pieces and then strain the broth. So I'll just turn off the stove. Ooh, look at that. Just meat is just falling off the bone. Look at that broth. I always like making my own broth, so this is... Ooh, it's very tender. So this is taking way too long, so I'm just gonna go ahead and strain the chicken with everything, and then I'll pick out the chicken once the broth has been strained out. That's ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour the broth back into the pot. And now we're gonna boil that, and we're gonna use that broth to make the dumplings. We're just gonna scoop spoonfuls of the BISQUICK mix and chuck it in the broth. They're like really huge actually. I thought they'll be smaller than this. So once we've dropped all the dumplings into the broth, we're gonna lower the heat. We'll cook this uncovered for 10 minutes, and then I'll cover the pot and cook it for another 10 minutes. Then I'll be back to scoop out the dumplings from the broth. So we'll be right back. Okay, so the dumplings have been boiling for 20 minutes. I'm gonna take up the lid, and they should be ready. We're just gonna take them out of the pot using a slotted spoon. Oh, they're really big, you know. I didn't expect them to be this huge. So those are the dumplings. That's how they look. Yum, right? Okay, so we're gonna thicken the broth using this cornstarch. First, we're gonna mix it separately in a separate cup. And we're gonna use the chicken broth. I think that's it. It's well mixed in. And we're gonna pour this into the broth. So we're gonna stir it well. And we're gonna toss in the chicken. So I already deboned the chicken, and this is our final result. I'm just gonna go ahead and put all the chicken into the broth. You're just supposed to stir the chicken into the broth, let it boil a little bit so that the broth and the chicken kind of mix together. And then after that, it should be ready soon. I'm now ready to try this to see if it lives up to all its hype. Oh, that's interesting. It's not my favorite thing. And it's just, I think it's a personal thing. I don't like wet bread, and this has that texture. Michael, maybe you can try it.
Really good, babe.
Oh.
I mean, it tastes just like, you know, what Mom used to make for my brother. So you did a great job.
Oh, yay.
I know you're not a fan of wet bread. So, you know, I understand why it might not be your cup of tea, but...
well, more for you.
As a chef, you did a great job.
Yay. Thank you. So that is all, folks. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you happen to try the recipe, let me know what you think about it. See you next time.